This video that has gone viral of the guy on the American Airlines plane banging on the seat of the woman in front of him because she reclined her seat represents everything that is wrong with litigation. Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber shooting on location in New York City. Actually, the coolest thing happened to me this morning. We were walking through Central Park and an NYPD officer looked at me and said, "Hey, you're that lawyer guy." It's too cool for words. We shook hands, he said hi to the kids, but okay, that's not the point of this vlog. Those two passengers on the American Airlines plane, it just goes to show you that if humans have nothing to fight about, they will find something to fight about. All right, and for those of you who don't necessarily live in MSM or on social media, there is a video that recently went viral of two passengers getting into an altercation on a plane. And the fact pattern, as I understand it, goes as follows. There is a guy sitting in the last seat of the plane, the seats that don't actually recline. The guy himself seems to be rather big. He seems to be over 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds, and the lady in front of him apparently reclined her seat and apparently at one point knocked over his drink. Apparently the man explained to the woman in front of him that it was very uncomfortable with her seat reclined onto him. Also, apparently the lady agreed to not recline her seat while the guy ate, but then she reclined her seat afterwards, much to the dismay of the gentleman behind her.
Apparently every time, because
Now, we have no video evidence of what actually preceded the video in question, but that is the story according to witnesses. The video that we see that went viral is of the woman recording herself and the man behind her sort of banging on her chair as though it were a drum. And he's sort of like on her seat to cause her some form of discomfort, to cause her to stop reclining her seat onto him. The video goes viral and it's sort of like that red dress, black dress thing. Everybody who sees that video has a different impression of it. Is she in the wrong for reclining her seat on already cramped airlines, knowing that the guy behind her is a very big person who cannot recline his own seat? Is he in the wrong for banging on her chair because she is within her rights to recline her chair? Regardless of whether or not she's within her rights to do what she's doing, is it courteous for her to be doing what she's doing? And if it's not courteous for her to be doing what she's doing, is it a normal response for an adult to bang on the back of a chair like a child? I have my own personal belief, and that is that I think the woman in the front was more in the wrong than the guy in the back. Yes, he was behaving like a petulant child, but so was she. It's not because you're within your rights to do something that you are right to do it. And a basic amount of courtesy among humans would have caused her not to recline her chair, knowing the guy's situation behind her. That being said, a basic amount of courtesy from the guy behind her would have been to suck it up and live with it, because life can get worse. And when I say that this situation embodies everything that is wrong with litigation, this situation is the microcosm of litigation. If people want to fight, they will find a way to fight. And you know at some point, both of them are saying to themselves, it's a question of principle. She is saying, I'm allowed to recline my chair. I don't care if it makes him feel uncomfortable behind me. I'm allowed to do it. And you know the guy behind her is saying, as a matter of principle, this is so discourteous for her to do, I'm going to be equally discourteous and periodically bang on the back of her chair. And as if this wasn't enough, two adults behaving like children. Now apparently the woman in the front wants to identify the guy behind her and press charges against him for assault. Not only that, but she wants the flight attendant who allowed this debauchery to occur to be fired. And when I say that this situation represents everything that is wrong in litigation, litigation is sort of like a forest fire. It grows on its own energy and it consumes everything in its path. And here at the heart of the conflict itself, which gave rise to this viral video, are two adults fighting over the fact that one wants to recline her chair and it's making the person behind her uncomfortable, but she doesn't want to not recline her chair because she's allowed to recline her chair. The 2.5 inches that her seat actually reclines is going to make or break her day, to such a point that she's willing to break someone else's day who is 6 feet tall, 200 some odd pounds, and can't make himself comfortable. And instead of behaving like courteous adults, they get into a fight that goes viral, but the fight doesn't end there. Now the lady in the seat in front of this guy wants to press charges for assault, and a lot of people are laughing, but a lot of other people are saying, yeah, you know, in law, technically this could be assault. And for those of you who are laughing at how this could possibly qualify as assault, well, you have two types of crimes known as assault and battery. In some jurisdictions, these are two separate crimes. In other jurisdictions, the battery portion of assault and battery is basically included in the assault charge itself. Broadly speaking, assault is the application of force to another person without their consent. It can be the application of physical force, or it can be the apprehension that one is going to apply physical force to another person. So the non-consensual application of force to another individual qualifies as assault. And even making a gesture that causes the apprehension of physical harm qualifies as assault. Now, incidentally, for those of you who have not seen Legal Eagle's video on the Captain Marvel situation, where this guy approaches Captain Marvel and pulls her newspaper back to ask her a question, she proceeds to break his hand, steal his jacket and motorcycle. Legal Eagle posited that touching the newspaper in Captain Marvel's hand could qualify as assault. And as preposterous as that might sound under the specific circumstances of that scene in Captain Marvel, world, it is a known fact that in order to qualify as assault, you don't actually have to make contact with the person. Slapping a cell phone out of someone's hand, for example, qualifies as assault. And so the theory here is that the guy, by punching the chair in which the woman is sitting, constitutes assault, because even though the guy is not making physical contact with the woman, he's making physical contact with the object on which the woman is located. And by the strictest letters of the law, it probably does qualify as assault. And to open up a parenthesis to finish the assault and battery, battery is unwanted touching. It doesn't necessarily require the application of force or the apprehension of harm, it is just unwanted or inappropriate touching. The most basic examples of battery might involve touching someone's butt or touching someone's boob.
Touch your boobs? That's assault, brother.
Battery does not require the application of force, it is just improper, unwanted touching. Assault requires the application of force or the apprehension that force will be applied. But where am I going with all of this? This entire situation is utterly absurd. This entire situation shows you that even adults can behave like the most childish of children. Childish children? It's preposterous that there is such an absence of courtesy among adults that this situation even arose in the first place. I can tell you with certainty that if I am in either of the shoes of either of these two people, the situation never escalates to begin with. If my actions are causing the guy behind me discomfort, I'm going to stop doing it. If I'm the guy behind this woman and I see that this woman is clearly not to be reasoned with, I'm not going to escalate the situation even more than that, because it can escalate to the current situation where she now wants to find this guy and press charges of assault against him. But being a lawyer, I always see both angles, and if what he did to her was assault, that is to say banging the chair on which she was sitting, if we want to play dirty, who's to say that what she did to him with her chair does not qualify as assault? In reclining her chair, she applied force to this guy's knees, at one point apparently even spilling his drink. And she knew that she was doing it, and she did it nonetheless. So I dare say if she's going to press charges against him for assault, he should press charges against her for assault. And I'm totally joking, by the way. This is just a joke. Ethical lawyers are not supposed to foment strife among the citizenry, but if one wants to play stupid games, let's take this stupid game to the next level. And when I say that litigation is all-encompassing, this spat among these two individuals has now been all-encompassing for the woman sitting in front of this guy. If you find her on Twitter, you can now see that her Twitter feed consists of nothing but this silly fight. She has now taken the fight from the plane with this guy to Twitter, where she's fighting with everyone who disagrees with her. Because surprise, surprise, there are going to be a lot of people who don't necessarily think that she was entirely in the right for her conduct. And now that she wants to take it one step further to the criminal level, people are not necessarily thinking that this is rational behavior. And you can see all of this reflected in her Twitter feed. Litigation often escalates because the parties are just unable or unwilling to take a step back, to put a little water in their wine, as we say in French, and to say, okay, fine, I'm going to accept the fact that someone did something wrong to me to some extent, and I'm just going to move on with my day because it's going to be more peaceful that way. People don't fully appreciate the value of peace until they have started unnecessary war. And I've got to tell you, I think both of these parties started an unnecessary war to some extent, but one person seems to be taking it to the next level. And like I say in litigation, be careful what you wish for, because while this woman thinks that she has the argument for assault against this guy, if this guy wants to play hardball, he can make the same argument against her. Alright, I have left my family for long enough, and my wife recently told me that at the end of the videos, I'm sort of rushing through the how you can support my channel side of things. If you like my channel and you like my content, I would greatly appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, a like, hit the notification bell, subscribe, drop a comment in the comment section below. It helps feed the algorithm and YouTube notice my channel and recommend it to people who might like my content. And if you want to further support the channel with merch, there are links in the pinned comment for merch. There's a PayPal option for anybody who wants to support the channel that way. I genuinely love doing these videos, and if I can make this sustainable, I might be one of the happiest people on earth. Alright, all that said, now you know your vlog, and peace out. Booyah!